So today we are going to be talking about the Supernatural series finale. Hey everyone, it's Megan, and welcome back to my channel. So today we are talking about the series finale of Supernatural. This is a little different than what I've done in the past. As you can see, I've been doing mostly reaction videos for the past couple of months. But I really wanted to talk to you about the series finale because there was just so much to talk about, and unfortunately it was something that wasn't said in the reaction because, I was so emotional, and then I tried to talk about it in the live stream, and I'm not sure how many people actually saw that. So I decided to do a sit-down video and talk to you about it. Now, I'm going to be upfront and say I didn't truly hate everything about the finale, but I did hate the majority of it. So I'm like an in-between right now. I did enjoy the fact that Bobby was the one to greet Dean at heaven. I'm not okay with how Dean died, or how long it took, but I did like that, Sam and Dean were reunited in heaven, that, they got to live somewhat normal lives for a little bit. But the thing that I have the most issue with when it comes to the series finale is how it kind of just erased all the history and everything that was built up within the series. Because one of the biggest things in the series that was said by Bobby, then later by Dean, was that family doesn't end in blood. And it doesn't start there either. And that is one of the things that the show created, was this family, an extended family between the boys, the hunters, and the people that the boys had met along the way. You had Jody, you had Donna, you had the Wayward Girls, you had Charlie, you had Garth, you had Bobby, Ellen, Joe, Ash, Benny, Crowley, Rowena, and Jack, and most importantly, Cass. You also had Gabriel, who he wasn't 100% family, but he still, they didn't hate him like they hated Lucifer. Let's put it that way. And it's just, they had this entire extended family, which I might be missing some people, so don't hate me if I am. I do apologize. And, oh, Rufus. They had Rufus, too. But yeah, so they had this entire extended family, but the finale just kind of erased that fact and just made it all about the boys. And I understand that people do say it is like full circle. It started with the boys and it ended with the boys. But here's the thing for me. Like I said, about the whole family unit thing. It started with the boys, yes. But the show evolved and it became about the family that they had created along the way in their travels. It was never just about the boys anymore. And one of those people that joined the team was Cass. He became a third brother, someone that Dean and Sam really cared about, and Cass really cared about them as well. So to write him out of the series finale was just as devastating as watching the brothers die, because he deserved to be there. He deserved to be with Dean and Sam because of the connection that they had. And it's one of those things that I understand, some fans don't see it that way. And that's okay. I'm not going to fault you for that. You can see it that way. This is how I see it, and I'm just explaining how I see the finale and why it upsets me. So, so yeah. So that was one of the things. Because, I mean, for me, if you had ended the show earlier on, maybe like, season 7, season 8, maybe you could do with the whole started with the brothers, end with the brothers. But after 15 years, it stopped being about just the brothers. It was not about them anymore. Because one of the things that, one of the things that was within the series was Team Free Will. That was Dean, Cass, and Sam. And then come season 12, it was Team Free Will 2.0, which was Dean, Sam, Cass, and Jack. And Jack was another one that became family. And now I can understand him not being, in the finale because he's only been there for so long. But also at the point, he was God. He had become God. So he kind of could have been there. And yes, I understand that in the episode before that, he had said, I'm going to be hands off. I'm not going to do much. But that was more about the world. He wasn't going to run the world like Chuck had done over the years. He wasn't going to do that. But he still cared about Sam and Dean. So if Sam and Dean had called him, he would have been there. If Sam and Dean needed him, he could have shown up. So in that barn, if Sam had called Jack, Jack would have shown up. He would have shown up, he would have saved Dean, and then he wouldn't have died. But because he's not, Jack wouldn't be meddling with anything. He'd just be helping out someone that he cares about, someone that he sees as a father figure, someone that Amara has a connection to. So that's one of the things that I have issues with when it comes to Dean's death. And I know I just went from like one subject to the next, and I'm sorry, I'll probably be all over the place with this, but I just want you to know like how I see it. And like I said, you're more than welcome to disagree with me, and you're more than welcome to have your own opinion. I'm not telling you how you should think or how you should see this finale. I'm just telling you how I see it. And I just needed to express this because I've seen so many different things, and I've always wanted to like comment, but I could never find the words to type. So that's why I figured maybe if I did this, it might help. So and my mind just went blank. But so yeah. So you're more than welcome to feel any way you want about the finale. You don't have to listen to me. You don't have to listen to, someone else. You just have to know how you feel. How you feel is valid. How you feel is correct. There is no right way to feel about this. Or there is no right way or wrong way to feel about this. This is just how you feel. And if you agree with me, that's great. You can let me know in the comments below. If you don't agree with me, you can let me know in the comments down below and we can discuss it. I have no problem with that. This is a no judgment zone, and I'm free to hear anything. I just personally didn't like the finale. I think there should have been more to it. It definitely did not give me the sense of closure that it should have. like, I have seen finales that give you the sense of closure. Like, for ER, one of the things that they did, which was fantastic, was it ended the same way it started, but in a different way. So, the main character, Dr. Green, was the first person to show up on screen, and he was the first name to be called. And in the series finale, though it was completely different people, his daughter, who was starting med school or thinking about going to med school, was the last name called, and they happened to call her Dr. Green. So it was the same way. It started and ended the same way with the words, but it was completely different, and that's the kind of finale that, like, really kind of gives you closure, and it was something fun and something that makes you smile because you're like, okay, this next generation, she's going to become just like her father, and it's going to be amazing. These people that we've grown to love, they've done all these incredible things, but they're still doing the same thing day in and day out. And I know you can't really compare ER and Supernatural. They're completely two different things. But my point is that what Supernatural was trying to do, it seemed, was basically do the pilot in the series finale and kind of do it that way. And, okay, I get where they were going, but they had to approach it in a way that, you know, summed up everything, that made closure to everything, because there are so many plot holes and so many things that just were not answered. Like, one of the things is the empty. Is it still awake? Is it asleep? And if it was asleep, is it awake again since Jack brought Cass back from the empty? So it's like, what happened? So what's the deal with that? Because that asks more questions. Why didn't Cass go and see Dean when he was in heaven? After all, for the sacrifice that Cass made and the declaration that Cass made right before he was swallowed up by the empty, you'd think he would go and see Dean as soon as he knew he was in heaven. And then there's also the whole, who was Sam's wife? Just some blurry face? I mean, they made this whole big deal about Eileen and Sam losing Eileen in the episode where Cass dies, but then it's never mentioned again. He doesn't text her, he doesn't call her. When Jack brings everyone back, there was no mention of her. Then all of a sudden we just see a random figure that Sam is married to. I mean, if they could have just simply done like an I love you sign, or done some sort of sign language between Sam, his son Dean, and the wife, and then we could have been like, oh, okay, it's Eileen. He married Eileen. They got together. But, you know, the actress Shoshana might not have been able to make it to Canada to film these scenes. But still, it could have been some sort of way of telling us that it was Eileen that he married. And then the Wayward Girls, are they okay? You know, we never saw Donna or heard from Donna again. We could only assume that she was brought back by Jack, but we don't know. Just like we don't know if the alternate reality Bobby and Charlie are back. Are they still alive? Is Stevie still alive? Becky. Is Becky back? Is her whole family back? It's like, there are some questions that they didn't finish up. And I mentioned this in the the second to last episode in my reaction is that, I half expected them to show these archived footage of Jody and the girls and Donna and maybe Charlie and Bobby, but you never saw it. Instead, you saw the montage. So I kind of feel like that could have been something that was done, to kind of to close up that story and say that they're okay and they're fine. But they didn't do that. So now you have to wonder, did Jack bring them back? Are they okay? Because you don't know that answer. And then when it comes to heaven, everyone's supposed to be there. John, Mary, Rufus, Bobby, and then you have the Roadhouse, so you can only assume that Ellen, Joe, and Ash are in there. Even if you didn't show them, you could have done like a little voiceover of the two of them talking, being in the background, or, maybe Ellen yelling at Ash, or Joe saying something in the background, so that way you're kind of like, oh, okay, he's reigniting with them. You might not be able to see them, but you could have heard them. And then it's like, okay, so we're getting to see this again. So it's like these little things that could have been done to make the series finale better, but weren't, because the show was too focused on Sam and Dean as two brothers. And while I love the brotherhood between Sam and Dean, like I said earlier, the show became more than just Sam and Dean, two brothers. It became something more. And the show basically erased all that in the series finale. And that breaks my heart to know that they did that. And to be honest with you, if the show had ended with 19 and that montage, I would have been happy, because that was fantastic. They ended on a high note. Jack is God. Chuck has been defeated. The boys have, can control their own life, and they're off riding into the sunset. And then you had that montage that was just amazing. It felt like a finale. The series finale did not feel like a finale at all. It just felt like a gut punch so much. And I get that there were supposed to be people in it that, didn't get to be in it because of COVID. And COVID had changed some things, but there could have been things done to fix that. I'm pretty sure voiceover work does not need to be in Canada. I'm sure that could have been done in California, in a studio somewhere. I mean, after all, Misha was able to do it for episode 19, so why couldn't they do something like that for the finale with other people? That was one thing that I just didn't understand. Or they could have shown, archive footage. After all, I mean, they made Bobby look like he was so much younger because, he died 8 seasons ago. So it's just like all these things that just never made sense. And the other thing, it has nothing to do with the finale, but it's just something that I've been wanting to say for quite some time. And you can see this scene however you want, but when it comes to the Cass declaring his love for Dean, it is 100% love, because Cass has said I love you to Sam and Dean back in season 12, and it is completely different tone, completely different way of saying it than when he said it to Dean right before he was swallowed up by the empty. So that is how I see it. And that is why I see it as something that was a romantic love and not just a, hey, you're my buddy, you're my brother, I love ya type of love. It was more of a, I'm madly in love with you, so I'm letting you know now, so that way I can get the empty to kill Billy and me and save you, because that is what I am doing. I am doing this to save you because I love you type of thing. And that's how I see it. Another thing that struck me, again, not with the finale, but something that I've seen with another plot hole, is the whole hell aspect of, those who have been to hell aren't allowed in heaven. So, honestly, that was just, how do I want to say this? That is just rubbish, and just written to explain why Kevin was not in heaven, or couldn't go to heaven. Because it's an utter lie. Because Dean's been to hell, but he also went to heaven. And before you say, oh, well, Jack is in charge of heaven now, so that's why he's there. No, he went to heaven back in season 5. Yeah, it was back in season 5, because it was when Sam and Dean were shot by 2 other hunters in their hotel room, and the 2 of them both ended up in heaven and looking for, was it Josiah? I forget who it was. I think it was Josiah, but I could be wrong. But yeah, so they were looking for him, who talks to God, so that way they could figure things out before the apocalypse happened. And of course, then they're brought back to life, so that way Dean can be taken over by Michael, and Sam can be taken over by Lucifer. But why was Dean allowed in heaven if he went to hell? And then you have Bobby, who's been to hell, who went to heaven, and John Winchester, who was in hell, who ended up in heaven. So why were they allowed to go to heaven and Kevin wasn't? So that, it's like, I was thinking about that, and I was like, wait, this doesn't make any sense. It's kind of like the whole empty issue for season 5. I mean, not season 5, the whole empty issue for season 15. Season 12, when Jack brought back Cass, the empty had stated that not even God himself has any power in the empty. Fast forward to season 15, oh, suddenly God can bring back Lilith, Lucifer. How does God have the ability to bring these demons back from Lucifer and Lilith back from the empty if he has no power in the empty? So it's like, there are so many plot holes and so many things that are rewritten to adjust to the storyline, and it gets frustrating sometimes. But I mean, I've looked past that, to be honest with you. I've looked past that. Because, I mean, continuation issues and errors happen, especially in a long-running show. But it just, it gets annoying sometimes, especially when it's used just as a plot device or just to justify why this is able to happen, you know? And now that I've gone on that rant, which, like I said, had nothing to do with the series finale, let's go back to the series finale. So, I just... I just feel that so much could have been done with this episode, but instead, they chose to make it into the monster of the week. They chose to have Dean die in the most ridiculous way possible. And then they decided to do a montage of Dean driving while Sam's life flashed before his eyes. Not his eyes, but flashed before our eyes. It's like... it was not good. It was just not good at all. And I understand that people want to say, oh yeah, it was the best finale ever, because they thought that. But I didn't. I didn't think that. And part of me also feels like, you know, maybe they could have done an actual 2-hour series finale and kind of spread some things around. But there was just too much wrapped in this finale that made it seem scattered and not put together real well. And then you just have the end of just Sam and Dean reuniting. I mean, I love that. I love getting to see them reunited, and I was happy to see them reunited again, but it just didn't feel like an end. It didn't. It felt more like a what did I just watch kind of thing. And I mean, I did love the nods to the pilot. That was, you know, that was very fun, and I'm all for that nod to the pilot and all that. But trying to like recreate the pilot in these scenes was, I don't know. It wasn't right. I'm trying to think of other things to say so I don't, you know, say the same thing twice, which I feel like I have done multiple times for this. But I just keep going back to the whole, this series started with Sam and Dean, but grew into something completely different, and that was a family with all these characters. And that's why when it comes to the finale and the fact that the only person you see is Bobby, it doesn't make a finale. Love seeing Bobby. I was so excited to see Bobby, but Sam and Dean have more family than just Bobby. They have so many people that they love and they loved, and so many people that they had lost along the way. I mean, I feel like one of the people that Sam should have seen was Jessica. I mean, he hasn't seen her since, season 1. And now he finally gets to reunite with her and kind of explain to her what happened and what went on, because she didn't deserve to die. She got caught in something that... She got caught in the crossfire. And then you have the boys who could reunite with Charlie, since her death. And Joe and, there was just so many people that the boys had met along the way that had died, and they could have been there. They could have seen this. But the show chose to go a completely different route and just make it about the boys. And I know there are people online saying that it was the network, and it possibly could have been the network. I don't know that. I can't speculate on that. I'm just going with what I know, is that the show did this. The show put this out there, and it hurts, because as fans, we deserve so much more than what we got. We deserved more. We deserved better. And there are a whole bunch of other things within the show that I want to speak on, but I can't in this video. 1, because it's long enough, and 2, I don't want to say anything wrong or say something that might come off untrue, but there is a lot within the show that deserved better. Charlie deserved better. Cass deserved better. Dean deserved better. And Eileen deserved better. Jody and the girls deserved better. Claire, Kaya deserved better. Donna deserved better. All these people who deserved better than what was given to them in this show. And it was all thrown aside to make it all about Sam and Dean. I mean, I love Sam and Dean. I do, but this show stopped being just about them a long time ago. We deserve a better finale than what they gave us. We also 100% deserve a better retrospect than what they gave us, because I could talk on that, but it was definitely not... I didn't think it was good. I felt that they left a whole bunch out about the show, a whole bunch that made the show, and just kind of cater it towards certain aspects of the show. And one day I hope that, maybe fans or maybe someone else can create a better retrospect or better look back video of the show, because it really deserves something amazing to showcase what it's done, especially with the fans. You know, it's done some amazing things, and maybe one day someone will get to show that. But for now, this is what we've ended up with, and this is how I feel. As I've said, you're more than welcome to disagree with me on anything I've said. I will not tell you no. I will not tell you that you should feel the way that you should feel a certain way. Because like I said, there is no right or wrong way to feel about this finale. You either love it, kind of like it, or you hate it. It's just how it is. And I mean, I would love to hear how you feel, if you agree with me, if you don't. I would love to hear all that in the comments down below. And like I said, no judgment zone, so please comment and let me know your thoughts. These are mine, and I just had to share them with you. So thank you all for listening, and I apologize for this being so long. But so thank you all. If you did enjoy this video, please be sure to give it a like. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Okay? I'm cool with that. I don't mind that. If you are enjoying my content, please be sure to subscribe. I am trying to post Monday through Friday. And be sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. And until next time, yes.